Hey everybody, welcome to a special weekend edition of No DQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/NoDQCAW. Let's get right down to your questions. This first one comes from Richie Koala. Hi Aaron, do you think that Kane will retire soon? Seems like his comeback in 2011 and role in WWE now has become really stale for the monster he used to be. Or do you think we'll see the destruction one more time? I think that when it comes down to it, it will be the decision of Glenn Jacobs, the man behind the mask, the man behind the character. I think he will continue to perform as long as his body holds up and he's able to keep doing it. I think that he really loves the wrestling business, and that's why he's still involved, because he has certainly made enough money to live comfortably for the rest of his life, but he's still around, he's still doing it, so I really do think that he has that passion. And I think WWE will always have a role for him. He may not be a main event guy. He could be in a comedy role. He could be in a mid-card role. But I think that WWE will always have something for him because he's been so loyal to the company over the years. And he's really made a lot of money for them. So I think that Kane will always have a spot in WWE. As far as him having one last run on top as a destructive monster. If he decides to retire and he lets them know in advance, I could see WWE maybe having one last big feud for him, or putting him in one more match and giving him a big send-off. I could see something like that, but hopefully not with The Undertaker. I really don't want to see another Kane and Undertaker match. Just let it go. Alright, this next one comes from JY619. What did you think of Luther Reigns? Please answer in video. To be honest, I was never a huge fan of Luther Reigns. I felt that he was just okay in the ring and okay as a talker. I remember one segment, it was a Thanksgiving edition of SmackDown, and he came out, and I was very entertained by that segment, even though it was unintentional comedy. Look it up, Luther Reigns Thanksgiving SmackDown, and I think that it's bad that is what I remember most about him. That is his career highlight, at least in my opinion. So that should tell you right there all you need to know about Luther Reigns. Just didn't feel that the guy had all that much to offer. This one comes from Joshua Dunce. What are the chances that WWE brings in the new belt before the Royal Rumble? It's hard seeing Rock carrying around the current belt, but that's just my opinion. I really don't want to speculate on the new WWE title design because it's been rumored now for well over a year, and they just haven't brought in the new belt yet, and I don't know when. And I don't even want to try to guess as to when they'll introduce it. I felt that there were plenty of good opportunities in recent months to introduce the new belt, like when CM Punk was celebrating 365 days as champion, or even going back to Raw 1000. There were lots of opportunities, and I just don't know when WWE plans to introduce the new belt, but I'm sure it will happen eventually. I've gotten questions about this before. You know, when is WWE going to get rid of the spinner belt? Even though it doesn't spin anymore, but that belt is a huge merchandise seller for WWE. So I think that's one of the main reasons why they haven't changed the design, because that particular belt is very popular in terms of replica belts and toy belts, and just it sells a lot of merchandise. So I think that's why they've been hesitant about changing the design. Hey Aaron, I was watching some old casket matches with Undertaker. Do you remember Undertaker ever losing a casket match? Yes, he lost the 1994 Royal Rumble casket match against Yokozuna. I think that's the most famous match that he lost. There may have been other casket matches that he lost. Somebody out there watching this can post it on YouTube. Let me know what other matches he lost. But that's the one to me that sticks out the most, is the 94 Rumble match, and you know, his picture showed up on the Timetron, and then he disappeared for 7 or 8 months and came back at SummerSlam. That's the one that sticks out the most to me. This is from Warrior 3889. Hey Aaron, just wondered, why did WWE release Brian Kendrick? When he beat Abyss, it looked like he would lead the division. Brian Kendrick was brought into TNA during a period when they were on a hiring craze. They were in a hiring frenzy. They were hiring tons of former WWE stars. This was around the time that TNA was going on Monday nights against WWE. So they were trying to sign as many guys as possible, and Brian Kendrick was one of them. And I think Kendrick was just released because of budget cuts. You know, TNA had too many guys on the roster, and they had to cut some people. And Kendrick was just one of those people that was released. And yeah, it's typical TNA for them to release a guy after he beats one of their top stars. I remember back when they had Val Venus, a.k.a. Sean Morley. He beat Jeff Jarrett, and then they let him go. So didn't really make a whole lot of sense. If you're going to release somebody, then you should at least have them put over your talent that's sticking around. But that's TNA for you. Hey Aaron, my question is, why the heck hasn't Jake the Snake Roberts been inducted into the Hall of Fame? I think the one main reason is because of his demons and his health issues. I think that Jake the Snake Roberts is very well respected for his contributions to the wrestling industry. And I think there's no doubt that he would be inducted, but I think WWE is concerned about inducting him just because of his personal life being such a mess. And I think if he's able to stay clean for a while and stays out of trouble, I could definitely see them inducting him. But I think that they're just being cautious, and you know, they don't want the negative publicity. They don't want to induct a guy who's had a lot of personal problems, and you know, they want somebody who's healthy and has had a clean lifestyle. Those are the people they want to induct into the Hall of Fame, not somebody who's you know, gone down that path of drugs and alcohol abuse. But yeah, if Jake can clean up his act and stay healthy, I think him being in there is a no-brainer, and hopefully it does happen sooner than later. This one comes from Deval David 9. What would you do to make the Aces and Eights storyline better? Well, I think I would just get rid of the Aces and Eights storyline altogether if I had to say. But to give you a legitimate answer to the question, I would get to the point here. I mean, it's been several months. The guys have been masked. Maybe 2 or 3 people have been unmasked. I think it's time to reveal all the members, and there needs to be a good reason for all this. Why are these guys here? I mean, it really needs to get to that point where we get a payoff here. Whether it's Jeff Jarrett trying to get payback on TNA, they need to have something big and a good reason. And I hope they have a good reason. I don't even know if they do or not. But yeah, I'm tired of what they've been doing. I think it needs to go in a different direction. So just change it up. That's what I would do. This is from Tom09 Hair. Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on Antonio Cesaro, and do you see him as a future main eventer? My thoughts on him are the same as Damian Sandow. I think both guys have a lot of potential, but I think they will be limited with the gimmicks that they have. You look back at like Triple H when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley. That was a gimmick that was only going to go so far. I think that if Cesaro evolves his character and changes things up, I do see him potentially being a major superstar in WWE for years to come. But it just depends on him evolving and changing up his character. But he definitely has all the tools, I think. You know, he's got the wrestling ability, he's got the verbal skills, and he has the look. So I mean, he definitely has what it takes. But it's just a matter of finding the right character for him. And I'm not sure the character he has right now is going to go anywhere past the mid-card level, but that's just my opinion. This one comes from Crayon4810. Excluding Punk or Heyman as possibilities, do you think the Shield will add more members to stay as a 3-man team? I personally think it's best that they stay as a 3-man team. I could see more NXT guys getting involved and joining the group, but I think that that's overkill. You look back at like the NWO, when they added too many people, it became very watered down, and the guys just didn't have as much impact. I think it's better when you keep a faction to 3 or 4 guys. That's what's ideal in my opinion. But I would like to see them, get together with Paul Heyman and CM Punk and make those 5 the faction or whatever. I think that they could really benefit from having Paul Heyman back them up. And so that's what I'm hoping happens, that it's revealed that the 3 of them were working for Punk all along. And I suppose you could throw in Brad Maddox in there as well and make that the faction. But keep it at that. Don't add any more people. Do you believe that 3 hours of Monday Night Raw is what is killing the Raw ratings? And should WWE go back to 2 hours? Well, from a creative standpoint, absolutely. The shows have just not been as good when they're 3 hours. The show drags more times than not. But WWE's making a lot of money with that 3rd hour. So I don't know if they're going to go back to 2 hours, and I'm sure they're going to be stubborn about it, and they're not going to give up on it. I think the ratings would have to fall even more than they have for it to not be profitable anymore. I mean, I think USA Network is still happy with the ratings overall, just because even though the ratings are down, they're still way above what would normally be in that time slot. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I mean, if the ratings stay where they're at now, I think that WWE will just keep trying to do 3 hour Raws for as long as they can. But if they continue to drop, then I could see them going back to 2 hours. And I really think they should go back to 2 hours, just from a creative standpoint at least. But they're going to do what's best for them financially. Hey Aaron, I know that a lot of internet fans don't like the fact that The Rock is getting a title shot at the Royal Rumble. My question is, how do you feel about it? I'm personally all for it because I think it would be entertaining to see Rock as champion. Well, I think that that story needs to be told. The Rock coming back and having one more moment of glory, winning the WWE title. I think that that's a great story, and I think it should happen. But I could see why people would think that him winning at the Rumble is a bad idea because, let's face it, The Rock's got a lot of movie projects going on. He's going to be very busy. He's not going to be able to appear on Raw that much. He's not going to be at the house shows defending the title. So that's definitely an issue. The ideal situation would be for him to win the title and then lose it fairly quickly to an up-and-coming superstar. Maybe lose it back to Punk or lose it to Ryback or lose it to somebody who the company is trying to build as the next big superstar. So, I mean, that's the ideal situation, but Rock winning at Rumble and losing to Cena at WrestleMania, just something that I'm expecting at this point. But I really hope that WWE doesn't go in that direction and that they do something else. But we'll have to wait and see. All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of No DQ&A Video. Thanks as always for watching. Don't forget to vote in the 2012 NoDQ.com year-end awards. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com. A new poll will be up every day with a different category. So stay tuned for that. And I'll see you next week for more No DQ&A Video.